Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Chosen Podcast. I'm Wes from the Chosen Ones, Homo Student Athlete Empowerment. I'm excited about this episode today, and also not excited because I'm kind of digging the skeletons out of my closet, man. Like it's crazy. The more I learn, the more I read, the more videos I watch about like sports psychology, performance, mental health, and things like that, the more I'm exposing myself to what was actually wrong with me back in the day. So it's freeing, but it's also frustrating too. So hopefully on this journey, you guys will walk with me and analyze what's going on in your head and your life and make these changes right now. So you're not looking back 15, 20 years prior like I am and wishing I made those changes, right? First of all, I just want to thank everybody that's been listening. My day ones, thank you. People that have been listening for a few weeks, thank you. Or if this is your first episode, thank you. I appreciate you. Make sure you share this episode out. Give us a like, a comment, and subscribe on YouTube. And then if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Music, or not Apple Music, my bad, Apple Podcast app, make sure you give us a review there too so more people can find out what we're doing. So today I want to talk about a subject that's, man, tough for me to talk about just because it's probably the main thing that was wrong with me back in my plan days. Hopefully this topic will help you kind of analyze things and analyze what's going on in your mind and in your life and make those changes now so you're not looking back 15, 20 years like me and saying, dang, I wish I would have did this, or dang, I wish I would have did that. That's the point of this podcast for real. That's the point of the chosen ones for real. You know, we started this to be able to, mentor athletes, from our point of view, as far as like things that we wish we would have done differently. And we want to, put that on athletes and challenge them not to make those same mistakes. I saw something somewhere where someone said that you don't have to touch a stove. You ain't got to touch a stove to, you know that the stove is hot. You don't have to touch it to be burned. You can see somebody else be like, oh, shoot. Yeah. That look hot. I ain't gonna go that route. I'm gonna go this route. I saw it on Willie Cruz's Instagram, so shout out Willie Cruz. So today I want to talk about playing not to lose. Playing not to lose. So that's something that is I feel like it's common. I feel like it's really common, especially if you're someone that is afraid of making mistakes. If you're someone that, really cares about what other people think, playing not to lose is something that you probably struggle with. So I want to start out with a quote. It's always good for me on these podcasts to start with a quote and expand on them. Some athletes play to win, others play so as not to lose the game. Some athletes make plays while others play not to make mistakes. So as I'm talking through this episode, I want to challenge you. Which side do you fall on? Do you fall on the side where you play not to make mistakes, or do you play to win? Do you play not to lose, or do you play to win the game? So I want to share with you a little bit of my story. Continue to share my story. So, I was always in survival mode when I played. It always felt like I was in survival mode. It always felt like, I wanted to be mistake free in games. And that put a lot of pressure on myself because mistakes are inevitable, man. Mistakes are going to happen. It's a part of life. It's a part of the game, the part of the game of basketball or whatever sport that you play. When I was hooping or even playing football or baseball or whatever, I would rather look good than win. So if you've seen the original White Men Can't Jump, Billy always talked to Sydney about y'all, meaning black people, would rather look good and lose than look bad and win. You know what I mean? That was me. That was me. I fell to that stereotype. But look, man, it got to the point where it affected the decisions that I made. It got to the point where I would step back on being aggressive. You know, again, I've been saying this a lot as a point guard. If you're not aggressive, you're not effective. So it was a death trap for me to care so much about looking good, to care so much about not making mistakes. That really was detrimental to me. I got away with it in high school because, I was a bit of a standout. So my talent level was better than most. But when I got to college, when everybody was good, that's when it became glaring. That's when the problems really started. So it comes down to really, I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to get embarrassed. I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to look like a weak link. I would rather be out there just kind of going through the motions and doing the bare minimum taking care of the ball, looking like I was a steady point guard, right? Instead of someone that is, oh, he's not afraid to do this. He's not afraid to get in there. He's not afraid to mix it up. That wasn't me because I cared too much about how I looked. Speaking of embarrassment, I want to share a story. All right. I want to share a story with you that's really embarrassing. It's probably the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me on the basketball court. You ready? I was playing with the Michigan Mustangs. It was 15U year. It was a fairly new team, so I was just getting to know everybody and trying to impress my teammates, trying to impress my coaches, right? Playing defense and getting into the person I was guarding full court D. And the guy just gave me it wasn't even one of those Allen Iversons. It wasn't a Kyrie Irving. It was just like a little stop, and he pulled back, changed directions, and I didn't change directions. I kept going back, 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 fell on my butt, slid. So broke my ankles, and I fell. Luckily, not a lot of people were at the game, so I got up and just kept playing and forgot about it, right? Was that it? Nah. Probably about 2 minutes later, same situation, same thing. Same thing happened. I didn't fall not once, but I fell twice on my butt. Embarrassing, dog. My coach took me out. Didn't say anything to me, didn't yell at me or anything, which I appreciate it. But I had to face my teammates right after. I sat down with my teammates. I looked over, laughing, giggling, like, Wes, bro, come on, man. So there's nothing I could say. There's nothing I could say. But in all seriousness, that situation affected me more than I thought it would. Because after that, I didn't want to feel that embarrassment again. I reacted in the wrong way. I reacted in a way where I didn't want to put myself in a position to get embarrassed like that again. So I took a step back on defense. I gave the person on offense that I was guarding space. I didn't pressure. I didn't get up into him like college coaches wanted to see, like my current coach wanted to see. Right. I didn't want to get my ankles broken again. That psychologically messed me up. So my challenge is to you, like when you get in embarrassing situations, how do you react typically? Do you say, I don't want this to happen again? I don't want to get embarrassed like this again. I'm just gonna, you know, do something totally different. I'm gonna take a step back, or I'm not gonna shoot that ball again because I airballed it. I don't want to go to the free throw line because I'm not a good free throw shooter. Do you react in that way, or do you say, no, 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 I'm not letting that affect me? I'm not letting that affect me. It could happen again, but if it does, so be it. That's how I should have responded to that situation. But it took years, 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 and years. I honestly didn't really start playing effective defense, believe it or not, probably until my junior year in college. It took that long. So that really it really killed me. It really killed me. It really killed my confidence. Honestly, it probably killed the way a lot of coaches looked at me in my recruiting process. They probably saw me in offense like, oh, this guy's pretty talented. But on defense, they were probably turned off because they saw that I wasn't really active on defense. It wasn't because I was a bad defender. It was because I was afraid of getting cooked. I'm just call a spade a spade. That's what it was. I was afraid of getting cooked and looking bad out there, right? That is how I played in a nutshell. I was out there on survival mode. I was just trying to survive. So if you're ever in survival mode, you're just happy to make it out in one piece. That's basically how I felt. I was happy to make it out of a game in one piece without getting embarrassed, without missing a bunch of shots. If I, scored in double digits, if I, didn't get my ankles broken, if I didn't get 30 dropped on me, then I was fine, right? I could win a game. I could have been on a winning side. And if I played bad shooting wise and the other person was killing me, I would be extremely upset. Um, and I know, like, as a competitor, I'm supposed to be upset at that. But the point that I'm trying to make is the only thing that I should have focused on was my attitude and my effort and the things that I could control. I should have focused on playing as hard as I possibly could without even caring what I look like, right? I wasn't free out there. I wasn't out there playing freely. I wasn't out there, having fun and competing and playing to win. I was out there trying to survive. Can you see the difference? So I want to share with you a couple facts basically of what playing not to lose versus what playing to win looks like. So playing not to lose is basically playing on your heels, right? you're reacting to things, right? You are responding to things when maybe it's too late. You're always a step too slow. So, perfect example, I reacted to things. My aggression, especially on the offensive end, dealt with how good I was shooting in warm-ups, number one, and how good my first couple of shots looked, right? So if I'm hot in warm-ups, I'm feeling good, and I make my first one or two shots in the game, then I was ready to ball, right? But if my shot didn't feel good in warm-ups, I missed my first two, three shots, I was extremely passive. So that's what I'm talking about, being on your heels, reacting. That's a bad thing. Versus people that play to win games, they're always on their toes. So they're not reactive, they're proactive. So no matter what, they have the same game plan every single game. If I was on my toes, if I was playing to win, I would have had the same agenda every single game and did what I did. And I was a scorer. I would have, I'm getting at least 15 shots up this game no matter what. I'm diving on all the loose balls no matter what. I don't care how bad I'm playing. I don't care how good I'm playing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Another fact, playing not to lose, you're tighter. Your muscles are tighter, right? You're not as relaxed. You're not as focused. You're tense. When you're playing that way, bad things tend to happen. On the other side, playing to win frees you. Have you ever just been in a game where, man, you're just playing so free? You're just playing so free, and your body's loose, and you're just having fun. You're smiling, right? I'm sure you've been on the flip side too, where you're playing really tense, where you're playing like it's just not comfortable. So I challenge you to play to win the game. I challenge you to play to win the game, right? Um, how can you do that? The first key is to accept that failure is inevitable. It's going to happen. Nobody's perfect. The only perfect person that walked on this earth is my Lord Jesus Christ. That's it. If your name ain't Jesus Christ, you're going to make a mistake, and you're going to make a lot of them. One way to get ready for these mistakes is to prepare for them. Is to prepare for them. So think about your upcoming game, or think about your next coming practice. Ask yourself, all right, how am I going to react to this mistake? How am I going to react? Maybe I missed like 5 shots in a row. How am I going to react to that? What's my plan? How am I going to respond to that? Right? Um, the better you prepare for that, the better you'll react to it. The better you'll respond to when it actually happens. Number 2, give yourself permission to fail. It is okay to fail. Look at your teammates. They're failing every day. Your coach failed as a player and fails as a coach as well. Everybody is making mistakes. And 9 times out of 10, your coaches and your teammates are going to be okay with you making that mistake, turning that ball over, or messing up that assignment on defense. They're going to be okay with that, right? So you got to be okay with it. Last one is know that your biggest successes will come after some of your biggest failures, right? I think about my favorite player, LeBron James. Most people know what his biggest failure is, the 2011 finals, right? When he was playing with the Heat, going against the Magic. They were up 2-1 in the finals. And then all of a sudden, I don't even know what happened. I hate talking about this because I'm a big LeBron fan, but he had his worst series in his whole entire career, uncharacteristic. So it was probably his biggest failure in his whole career. But what did he do after that, right? He could have just laid down and just say, you know, I give up. Like, I'm not good enough. He could have told himself that. But no, he got in the gym. He kind of went dark, then came in 2012, won the MVP, right? Won the NBA Finals, won the Finals MVP. Then he went to the Olympics, won a gold medal, and he became the male athlete of the year, and the ESPYS and AP, all that stuff. So it was a year of LeBron after his biggest failure, right? His biggest failure 2011, and in 2012 became the year of LeBron. Crazy. If you can recognize that, if you can recognize that greatness, if you can recognize someone digging themselves out of that hole and responding in a great way, and then having a success after a horrible failure, if you can see that, that means you can do it. That means that greatness is in you. Okay? Believe that. So I hope this episode was helpful. I challenge you. I challenge you to just let the shackles come off you, right? Let those chains break off you, okay? And I hope that you play to win and not play to lose. All right, y'all, that's it for today. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you listening. Make sure you share this episode out. Make sure you leave a comment. What do you want to learn next? Talk to me. What do you guys want to learn about? What do you want us to talk about? Who do you want me to interview? What types of people? What types of players? I'm all for suggestions, man. I'm here for y'all, but I appreciate y'all. Until next time, deuces.